Alright, so I just wanted to hop on and review the Light Seer's tarot deck. So this is kind of an unboxing. I haven't used them yet, but I'll just show you what they're like. So it comes in this box. I like it when they come in boxes like this that are kind of easy to open and close. So there's that. Inside the box it has a little message. Says, and into the gray we follow like 1,000 flickering stars, and there in the sunlit lit hollow we lose and find what is ours. I noticed that a lot of tarot decks will have like a little message on kind of the inside if they come in a box like this. So it's got this book here. This is a pretty thick book, guidebook that will just tell you about like all the different things. It is in black and white. I think most of my books have been in black and white though, but I recently got another tarot deck that had it in color, and I thought that was kind of nice. But oh yeah, it's got a book that talks about all the cards. I will say the reason that I got this deck, I don't know if I would have picked it like just looking through the different options that are available, but I've been watching some different tarot readers on YouTube, and I kept seeing like some of these photos, some of these cards, and every time I saw like somebody use these cards, I'm like, man, I really like that deck. I like how it looks. So yeah, just based on seeing it with a couple people doing readings with them, I realized that I like them. And so that's one thing I would recommend if you're new to tarot and you don't know what decks to get. I would watch videos of people doing tarot, because I didn't realize that it was so common to have like multiple decks and to draw from multiple decks. So even if you're just watching one person, a lot of times they'll have more than one deck, and you can kind of get a feel for maybe what deck you might like or whatever. Because I know when I first got into it, I just was like, man, I want like a really pretty one, and that was kind of what I was going for. But now that I've kind of used some decks a little bit and seen other people use them, that's not necessarily what you're going for. I mean, you want to like the look of the deck, but just, I don't know, now that I understand what more of the cards mean, I'm not just going for something with like colors that I like or whatever. But anyway, like, yeah, I really like the illustrations on this deck after seeing them kind of used in some readings. Whenever they were used in some readings and they would hold up the card and explain what they meant, like I felt like I really connected with the illustrations on here. So yeah, I mean, this looks like the basic, how many cards is in a standard tarot deck? 78 card deck. So actually, let me look through these cards real quick and kind of give you my thoughts on them. Okay, so I've just gone through the deck, and I will say I really, really, really like this deck so far. I haven't like, I'm new to this, so I haven't like tried drawing with it or whatever, but just based on the feel that I get from it, if that makes sense. Like I really, really, really like the illustrations, and yeah, like I think I'm really gonna like using this deck. I will say, so I just wanted to show you kind of like, there was definitely two that I kept seeing in other people's, like I would watch like my tarot reading online, and I would see this one seemed to come up, and then this one. And I don't know what that means, but I feel like I really, like these were the ones, like I kept seeing people draw this one for my sign, and every time I would see it, I would be like, okay, I know exactly what that means, you know, like the meaning of it really like related to me with the picture, and I felt like this one too. And so those were the two that really stood out to me, but then just kind of like going through all of them, like I really think that they're really pretty, and like you can really, I don't know, I think they're pretty, so I'm really happy with them. The other thing that I'm looking for now that I know a little bit more about tarot, besides just if they're pretty or not, is how easy they are for me to shuffle personally, because I'm not very good at shuffling and my hands are kind of small. And so yeah, I just did, so I talked about, so when I normally shuffle, since my hands are small, especially with like oracle cards, and especially oracle cards that are on really thick like cardstock, I have a ton of trouble shuffling them. But these are a little bit smaller, and most of like the tarot decks, like the 78 card tarot decks, I think have been a little bit smaller, like this size or whatever. But yeah, so I kind of tested it out earlier, and I think these are going to be a little bit easy for me to shuffle. And what I normally have to do is break the deck in two, because shuffling like one deck all together is a little bit hard for me. But let's give it a try here. I was able to do it somewhat well with another deck that I ordered, but let's see. I don't know if I'll be able to do it with this one. Yeah, these are a little bit tougher. Yeah, I might have to like break these in for sure. But I don't know. And the other thing that I've heard people talk about is they shuffle them like this. And so I am definitely not good at this, but I've seen them do this. And I don't know if it's good for them to slide over each other pretty easily or not, but like, oh, maybe that's my card. But I don't know, these slide pretty well. They're pretty glossy. So yeah, I even like the design here. It's just, I kind of like having a few tarot decks now, because it kind of like, I can tell that if I'm in different moods, I'm in a different mood for different decks. So this is definitely, I think, going to be one that goes into my rotation. So yeah, that is the Light Seer's Tarot deck and guidebook. Okay, so actually I've got one more thing. So I picked up that card that flew out, and actually, me being new to tarot, I love it when they fly out like that, because I don't know if people get like a feel for different cards or whatever, but I don't really feel like a connection with the cards so much, like a spiritual connection, but like whenever they fly out like that, I like it, because I'm like, okay, this is the card I'm supposed to have. There's no question about it. It flew out at me. So I like that. But I will say, like, oh my gosh, like the card that came out for me, I just wanted to show it to you, and then I'll read the book, so maybe you want to get an idea of like what the book is like. This one is called The Hermit. So you can see the picture there. And right now I am actually taking, I got Friday off for spring break, and so I rented like a tree house in the mountains, and I am literally hermiting myself right now in the mountains for a few days and away from everybody, trying to stay off social media. And yeah, I just felt like I needed a reset or recharge. So just looking at this card, not even knowing what it's like, it's called The Hermit, and I feel like it's definitely related to me right now. So there's that. And so if you go to the book, you turn to the page and you can find the card. So there's The Hermit. And one thing that with the cards that I think some people follow it, some people don't, depending on if you get the card like right side up, or if you flip it, if it's upside down, they can have different meanings. And I've, been going along with that. This one ended right side up. So it looks like it has the card, and then it'll give you, like, normally there's if you into tarot, you know this, but if you're not, it'll give like just a few, kind of almost like a summary, like a Cliff's Notes of what the card is supposed to mean. And then it has it like right side up or upside down, and then what the main meaning of that is. So since I got mine right side up, I'm going to read this top one. And in this, they call it Light Seer, which that's what I'm assuming this means. Like Light Seer might be right side up, and then Shadow Seer upside down, just because that's how I've seen it in other books. So it says The Hermit, Light Seer. What it means is inner reflection, meditation, contemplation, soul searching, inner wisdom, spiritual mentor, finding your guide, taking time away from the chaos of a busy life, or hermiting. So yeah, I mean, this is 100% accurate for me right now. And I know with most of these cards, like you can find some way to make it relate to your life, but this is like 100% my life right now. So it says it's time to make space for your sacred aloneness and self-care. If you're feeling disconnected from your spiritual north, this time of solitary withdrawal will help you to connect with your own compass. Soul purpose, spiritual awakening, and deep inner wisdom spring from this energy. Sometimes we run the risk of being so introspective that we lose our connections to others. Or worse, we can dive so deeply into our stories of struggle that we inadvertently begin to believe that our wounds will be part of our forever identity. In the deepest trenches of self-discovery, we must remember that our continual search for our own healing and inner truth does not mean that we are not already whole and healed. Emerge from your inner retreat with beautiful insights from spirit and allow yourself to navigate the path with your brightly illuminated heart. And then it has some words down here. It says inner sage, inner mentor, inner guide, show me my brightest light so that I may see with all my heart. Oh, I think this may be like an affirmation you're supposed to get. I have another set that they have like, I think it says like hold the card to your heart and say this affirmation. So maybe that's what that is. I probably should have read. I bet it goes okay, yeah. It's kind of a whole beginning part that's like how to use this deck. So yeah, so it's got some instructions for the deck as well. But yeah, that was my little card that popped out with this one and kind of an idea of what the guidebooks are like. So yeah, I so far would definitely recommend this deck, at least for me. I think this is definitely going to turn out to be one of my favorites.